Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here with a short video on your Friday afternoon of Double or Nothing weekend 2021. That's the first thing I gotta say, man. Happy Double or Nothing weekend. We started off tonight with Friday Night Dynamite, and just as a reminder, for those of you who forgot, yes, we have Dynamite and SmackDown tonight. I will only be reviewing Dynamite. Only reviewing Dynamite tonight. After the show, it is going to be a late night on the Big Five Field channel. You're going to get a late notification that the Dynamite review popped up in your sub boxes. So some of you might be up, some of you might be asleep. But anyway, once you get in your sub boxes, it'll be available late tonight. Myself and Wesley Williams will be bringing you the Dynamite Go Home show before Double or Nothing in just 2 nights. 2 nights, man. But man, I'm excited. I woke up today. I don't have school because it's Memorial Day weekend. I woke up today around noon, and my phone was blowing up with notifications after the rumor broke by multiple sources that WWE wants to get a working relationship going with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I was like, wow, this is big. I have a lot to say about, not a lot, but I have some stuff to say about it. It's big enough that I should make a video on it. So here it is. The first thing that I really feel about it is I find it all strange. I find it really strange how all of a sudden WWE has this big news that drops out. Like, it's a newsworthy week for the WWE. Like, a lot of stuff has happened. And Verkus no longer on Raw commentary. Tom Phillips was fired. WWE fired over 60 people this week, I heard, that's outrageous. The amount of money that company has, and they fire all these people, that's outrageous. That is so ridiculous, man. Touring dates, news on SummerSlam, which, I wanted to go to, but if it's going to be out in the West Coast, more than likely, I will not be there. But, now they want to work with New Japan, and I find it I find it really strange that this took place the first day of Double or Nothing weekend. It's like they're trying to take away the thunder from AEW on a very huge weekend for them. This is a big weekend for AEW as this is the first pay-per-view. Double or Nothing is the first pay-per-view with a full capacity crowd. And WWE, I feel like, is trying to take away that thunder with this news. So I wanted to get that away. And New Japan Pro Wrestling, please don't fall for the trap. Please don't fall for the trap of WWE. Because I'm still going to tell you, man, this is more bad than it is good. And the reason I say that is the only reason that WWE is trying to do all of this is to, like I said, to take away the thunder from AEW and to get New Japan away from AEW. I don't want that to happen. WWE ruins the fun in wrestling. Besides SmackDown, with business standpoints and booking and creativity with Vince and Bruce and their idiots of writing, WWE ruins fun in wrestling. I don't want New Japan Pro Wrestling to be ruined, and then there's been rumors that they always, Triple H wanted an NXT Japan. I guarantee if there's an NXT Japan, half of that roster is more than half that roster is gonna be guys that are on the New Japan Pro Wrestling roster right now, like Zack Sabre Jr., Bushi, Shingo Takagi, all those guys. They would be on the NXT Japan roster, and WWE, they would not be putting these guys over. You think I seriously, I don't even think Vince McMahon knows even half the roster. Does he even know Does he even know the roster on New Japan Pro Wrestling? Does he even know who's on the brand? The likes of Jay White, Okada, Ibushi, Tanahashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Shingo Takagi, Will Ospreay, Jay White. Does he even know who those guys are? Does he know who those guys even are, man? Like, my God. I don't want, like, if this was that, I don't think it's going to happen, because who wants to work with the WWE? Seriously. Who wants to possibly go into a working relationship with Vince McMahon? I don't think I would want to do that, because Vince McMahon would be all about himself and about his company and not the Japan company. And like I would hate it. I would absolutely hate it to see a guy like let's say a guy like Ibushi. Would you guys want to see Ibushi be jobbed out by a guy like The Miz? Or would you want to see Okada have to put over Braun Strowman? I would hate that, man. I would absolutely hate that. And Vince McMahon, John Moxley's on that roster as well. Kenta is on that. Those guys, they are not going to want to do this if this happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but those guys, I think, are going to refuse to work with the WWE, especially Moxley. Because a couple years ago, Moxley said that he would rather work at McDonald's and not make a lot of money than go back and work for the WWE. He would rather retire. He would rather retire at an early age and train young wrestlers than go back and work for the WWE. That's how much Moxley hates the WWE. And if this was to happen, Moxley is not going to wrestle for them. Moxley is more than likely going to vacate that United States Championship. I don't want to happen. I don't want that to happen. And if Vince McMahon didn't get John Moxley, he did look at Moxley in WWE and look at Moxley now. He is a top babyface in AEW. He was a fantastic world champion for 10 months. And he's lost like twice. He lost like 2 matches, I think. 2 or 3 matches. I'm not even sure. But if Vince McMahon, if he didn't get John Moxley, what makes you think he's going to get Okada? What makes you think he's going to get Ibushi and Tanahashi and Shingo Takagi? What makes you think he's going to be like, oh, you know what? I look at this guy. I want to push Shingo. I want to push him. And then they water him down. They make them like everybody else. Just like they did with their own roster. They will make everybody feel the same. And that's what they're going to do to the New Japan guys. And they're going to water them down. They're going to make it the way they want them to be. And they're not going to get over. Like, completely honest. Who on the roster right now is over besides maybe Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and I can't even think, man. RK Bro, I guess. On the main roster I'm talking about. Who's really over besides Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, RK Bro, and maybe Cesaro? Right now, who's over? Who's over? Nobody. And do you trust WWE with foreign wrestlers? I'm sorry if I didn't use the right word, but do you trust WWE with Japanese wrestlers? I mean, look at all you have to do is look at what happened with Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka. Shinsuke Nakamura came into the WWE. He had a fantastic run in NXT. Everybody loved him. He comes up to the main roster. They have him lose twice in two WWE Championship matches to Jinder Mahal. And then they had him win the Royal Rumble. And he lost at WrestleMania to AJ Styles. And he turned heel. And it went downhill from there. So WWE, in a matter of a year, a couple months, ruined Shinsuke Nakamura. He was dead once he lost to Jinder Mahal twice. That was terrible. And then Asuka was undefeated. Asuka was undefeated in NXT. She didn't lose. And then she wins the Royal Rumble. She wins the Royal Rumble in 2018. I was there. The same year Nakamura won it. She challenges Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Of course, she should have won, but who do you think won? Their favorite, the chosen girl, Charlotte Flair won. And they made, look at Asuka on television, dude. She is made to look like a freaking clown. A clown. All of this spells more bad than it does good, and I don't want WWE to work with AEW at the end of the day. My bad. I don't want WWE to work with. I don't want New Japan to work with WWE because it's more bad. And for all those people saying, "Well, it get great exposure for New Japan in the United States," who's to say they wouldn't get that same exposure in AEW as they would WWE? There's a lot more hardcore fan base in AEW than there is in WWE. And they would be watered down to the WWE style of wrestling as it is on Raw and SmackDown. And the Shills defend it because they are going to defend them no matter what. And they like the WWE style of wrestling because, again, they're brainwashed. And, half of them don't even watch NXT. Half of the Shills don't even like NXT. And what they like New Japan because it fits their shill agenda. I don't understand these people, man. I don't understand these people. It's more bad for good. And who's to say they don't get more exposure than working with AEW than they do with WWE? Because at the end of the day, AEW is just as big as WWE. A lot of people are jumping to the AEW bandwagon. So I think they get equal amount of exposure. They might get more exposure in AEW than they would in WWE. But I had to give my quick thoughts on it. It's the only thing people are talking about today. So I had to jump right on top of it before it's too late. And thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to check out that roundtable discussion, man. Myself, Wesley Williams, Matt Moody, and DJ Storms for Double or Nothing. Check out that roundtable, and I'll see you guys. All right, late night Dynamite review with Wesley Williams tonight on the channel. Have a good night, stay safe, and as always, stay classy, man.